Welcome back to the channel, guys, and it is time for something slightly different today. Last few days been looking at YouTube and I've come across this thing called the Excavator challenge. So first place I saw it was on Daryl's channel, The Home Pros, and now Diesel Creek has done it. I believe there are large number of other people have done it, so I decided why not do something different and give it a shot with the 206. Now, we've got a couple of handicaps with this machine that I'm going to now just grab the camera and take around and show you. So, first problem with this machine for taking on this challenge is its physical size. The next problem is if we look to the cab. Now it's not in there yet, but the operator is the next weak link in the chain. That is me. Very little experience, especially on this machine. Next problem we have is quick hitch. Quick hitch isn't fully plumbed yet. And just to top it all off, I don't have a bucket yet. Now there are some buckets thrown around here, so we're going to have to go and look at those and see if we can find something that'll work. And of course, I've got no thumb on there, so we're going to have to try and just pick it up using the bucket like Daryl did. Now, next issue is at the rear of the machine. If you watched the last video, you remember that the blade is suspended on these chains, so I have very little scope to slew the machine, if any at all. So I'm gonna have to cheat a little bit and try and keep the points close together. So first job is, let's go and check out the buckets and see if we can find a way to attach one of them to the machine, and we'll get this thing underway. Wonder if this one do my job. Nice bucket here, but unfortunately pins are wrong enough. There's another bucket here. That's not going to do. Gonna have to look further. Okay, so it turns out neither one of those buckets that we looked at would fit the machine. Pin patterns are totally different and the pin sizes are different, so they're not going to work. But I have had a stroke of luck. Turns out my nephew had a bucket that I might be able to make fit the machine. Now we're going to have to improvise slightly with the quick hitch to achieve this because it's not plumbed. So we'll just figure that out and get his bucket on there and see if we can make this thing work. Oh, it's been a while since we cranked this machine up, so I'm just hoping that the thing will actually start. It's going to give it a little bit of throttle. Turned on the battery switch already. Okay, give it a little bit more throttle. Not the cleanest start up in the world, but she hasn't run in some time, so let's make sure we have no leaks or anything before we do anything. Yeah, I think we're okay. I'm gonna try lifting her up. We'll just position the boom so we can get the bucket on here. Go. I think what I'm going to do is, seeing as my slew range is really limited, now I'm just going to straighten it up a little bit. I'm going to stay fairly central to my machine, so I'm going to have to cheat that way, but I'm going to try doing it a long reach. The other difficulty I have with this thing, as you can see, slew brake doesn't work and the machine wants to rotate because it's got the blade unevenly balanced off the back of it. So as well as having to operate the other controls, I'm going to have to keep slight pressure on the slew just to keep the machine in line with the egg and the bottle that I'm going to try and pick it off. So without any further ado, I'm going to fit up the bucket. Just going to shut the machine down for a few minutes and get that. So here's our egg on top of a 1 litre milk container, which is empty, and target's over there. So the pickup position is roughly, I've just pasted it out, is about 9 meters from the operator position in the cab. So I hope, number one, that I've got the reach, and number two, that I've got the eyesight to pull this off. In fact, I think I may not have the reach. I'm going to have to bring it back a bit. So I'm going to bring it back about 1 meter, and I've staggered the slew as well, just to, so I have the slew and I have to try and hold it. Like I said, I think the excavator is kind of settled into its natural position now. So yeah, this is going to be fun. Let's give it a shot though. Okay, good news is I've managed to get my nephew's bucket to fit the quick hitch in this machine. So here goes nothing. As I say, I don't have a thumb, so it kind of is a little bit of a handicap, and teeth in this bucket I don't think are really going to suit it. But look, let's fire up the machine. We'll give it a go anyway. Here goes nothing. There is something I didn't mention about my nephew. He's less than 2 years old, so he, as you can imagine, he had a pretty limited selection of buckets, so I just pulled this one off his toy tractor. We'll give it a go. I think it's my eyesight is going to be the biggest challenge on this particular challenge. I was going to try and line up the teeth of my bucket. To hold some pressure. So close. Right, I better pack something behind that bucket to give me extra room to rotate it. I'm just going to put my egg here carefully. Alright, so we've got a stick and some cable ties. We've also got duct tape in case we run into problems, and I think now our bucket's probably better positioned on our quick hitch to pick up our egg. So I'm going to put our egg back in this position here and balance and top the bottle. Let's have another go. Get my bucket within, sorry, his bucket within a reasonable reach, and then rather than having to keep moving my sticks to get the right level, that I can just curl it and hopefully pick the egg up. Okay, given that it's the longest this thing's run in a long time, I'm just going to give the engine the once over, see how she looks before we go any further. Oh well, we're above the marker. And check the cooling system as well. And get a litre of oil down, throw it into it. Coolant is still cold, so she hasn't even really got up the temperature yet. I'm just gonna pull the cap out. So I'll take a look in there and see how the top end is looking, if it's oil or water we got in there. So the oil level looks fine. It is above the minimum. It's not up to the full mark, but there's still a little bit of water in there, so I'm not going to bother topping the oil up. We're not going to run the engine much longer, and next time I'm down here I am going to give it another oil and filter change, just to try and get the last of that bit of condensation from that engine sitting out of it. There seems to be oil in the top end. Well, the head is nice and wet, so it's getting up there, but another oil change wouldn't hurt it, so we'll do that when I'm back from a trip. I have to take a trip next week, so I won't be able to get to it, but I will get to it afterwards when I get back. Okay, so I've made a few minor adjustments to his bucket using some duct tape and sticks. Now I know I'm cheating, but yeah, I just want to try and get it right. Oh man, can you believe that? That was actually an accident. The machine was trying to pull to the left as it usually does with the weight on the back of it, and I was just trying to feather the control and the egg just fell off, but I landed right there. Alright, I'm going to give it another go. Just for fun. I'm going to do it a little bit further away and see if I can do it a second time. Okay, so that's that for this video. Didn't really, well, got one egg on there, pretty much by accident, and I did cheat by modifying my child's bucket, but yeah, but I did win in ways though, and the way I have won is I've ran this machine for the longest it's ever been run. I've got the coolant up to temperature, I've got the oil up to temperature. I can see already, looking at the dipstick, that was condensation, not oil. It's even starting to steam out of there, and the colour of the oil is starting to improve. Now I'm still going to give it an oil change. no one wants to run an engine with water in it, but I was told by Owen, who I've mentioned here previously in my videos, who's a friend of mine, that some of the older cat engines tend to end up with condensation in them, and that you just run them and basically steam it off, and that's what appears to be happening here. But it's the other thing that somebody told me when I started working in this machine, even before I'd started working on it, they told me that the metal filings from the pump would have just gone through the entire system, that the machine would be uncontrollable, that there'd be no response, that, you know, couldn't control the thing properly. And I managed, well, no, I was cheating, but I managed to pick an egg up with it, and I managed to sit an egg down with it. So that just goes to show this machine is not as bad as it could have been. It's got just over 10,000 hours in it. I am the worst operator. I've very, very limited experience of operating 360 excavators. So it's a miracle that I managed to do what I did with it. So really, if there's credit being given to anything, it's to this whole machine. It just wants to live, it wants to work. And I know a lot of people out there love this machine, they love seeing videos of it, and that's not a reason I've come down here this evening and done it. I have other projects that I'm trying to work on, but the cat is the popular one. Nobody wants to watch my other stuff. They just seem to love the cat videos. So there you go, that one's for you guys. I assume the regulars will drop in and say hi, always good to hear from you. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you like what you just saw, hit the like button, give me the thumbs up, and drop a comment, let me know where you're watching from. And when you're subscribing, don't forget to turn on that little bell icon so you don't miss upcoming videos. A couple of more projects I've been working on, videos due shortly. Range Rover is actually parked here beside me. I just pulled that out of the workshop a while ago. It's got its roadworthiness test tomorrow morning, so fingers crossed she gets through it. If not, we're going to have another video on another saga on that one. But I've actually just finished making a video on it, on the work I have done to prepare it for this test, so we'll bring you that shortly. Other than that, yeah, I'm happy with, I mean, you've heard it run, it runs well, it responds well to control input, especially if there wasn't a donkey operating the thing. And the more I work it, the more confidence I had in it. And it was great to get down here this evening and run it for so long, because I was nervous. I thought, you know, if I get this thing out and start working, it is going to overheat straight away. I kept an eye on the coolant temperature, literally by removing the coolant cap very carefully, feeling the hoses, feeling the radiator, remove the coolant cap, dip a finger in there. No sign of oil going in there or anything. There's no sign of leaks. There was some water came out underneath, but that was just sitting in the rails. My slew, as you could see, improved later in the time. That's because I snapped the final chain that was holding that blade up. So yeah, I need to get in there and do something with that. Now, some great suggestions from viewers. I know that one of you was suggesting swinging it around and picking it up and chaining it in position on one of the hooks in the back. So I'm going to take a look at that and try and do it. And I also had a great suggestion, which was actually came from another 206 owner on how to approach the excavator challenge with this machine. Came up with a suggestion, but Niels, I just had to leave it there. I couldn't do it this evening. That could have got me in a lot of trouble. Anywho, thanks again for watching, guys, and see you soon. See you in the next one. Have a good evening.